found a tube, and the minute I opened it, the smell transported me through time.
This one's wife to endorse Kamala Harris? Hello, I'm HG Tudor. The Hindustan Times reports, as per Tuin Das Mahapatra, this one's wife could endorse Kamala Harris. The question is posed, is this one's wife set to endorse Kamala Harris in the presidential race? Speculation grows about a budding alliance between the two. Does it really? Is there a budding alliance between this one's wife and Kamala Harris going on? Several speculations suggest there is, as Harris will fight against Donald Trump in the coming presidential race. There is speculation that she might receive an endorsement from this one's wife. The Duchess, who has a history of support for the Democrats prior to her royal life, could see this as an opportunity to advance her career in politics. Well, naturally, this is speculation about her supporting Kamala Harris. And of course, for a narcissist, her endorsement wouldn't be given out of any genuine support, but done in relation to what would it get me. The article continues by explaining that this one's wife told Gloria Steinem, who of course is a non-intimate secondary source who has found herself shelved as of late, but told her in 2020, "I'm so excited to see that kind of representation," while expressing her excitement for Harris's candidacy. "For me, being biracial growing up, whether it was a doll or a person in office, you need to see someone who looks like you in some capacity." And as I mentioned yesterday, her observations, of course, made it all about her, as contrasted with Gloria Steinem's, which were actually about the subject. But that's pretty typical, isn't it, for the Duchess of Delusion? You may recall that when she sent glass eyes around the globe to sleep when she spoke at Bridgewater Hall in Manchester in 2022, the speech that she gave was all about her. All about when she was involved with One Young World, what it meant to her, how she felt, what she was thinking. It wasn't about the cause, it wasn't about the circumstances, it was all about the Duchess of Delusion, the Duchess of Industrial Beige. The fact is that she wants, as always, for whatever is spoken about to be about her. The article explains this one's wife, who is half African-American and half Caucasian, I'm not sure that's right, celebrated Harris's diverse heritage, appreciating her Afro-Jamaican and Indian roots even before she assumed the vice presidency. Traditionally, members of the British royal family are expected to remain apolitical. However, this one's wife has consistently engaged in political advocacy, which she continued even after she became royal. Sense of entitlement, lack of boundary recognition. Kinsey Schofield, a royal commentator, told GB News about the potential impact of an endorsement from this one's wife and Prince Harry. Newsweek took a poll asking how many people would be influenced by a potential endorsement from the Duke and Duchess of Sussex. And 40% said they would be influenced, Schofield reported. Though rather entertainingly, Kinsey Schofield doesn't say whether the influence would be negative or positive. After all, one would think these days that if you received an endorsement from the Duchess of Delusion, it would be much rather like a kiss of death. Fuck me, I've been endorsed by this one's wife. She's hardly the benchmark or standard of brilliance, is she? This is a woman that's disliked around the globe, who slated her in-laws, doesn't bother with her ill father, has been called a fucking grifter, who repeatedly engages in revisions of history and the telling of porky pies which have been proven, hides her kids away, is regarded as the individual who keeps Harry captive, who launched a range in March which has got nowhere 4 months later. I really do want to be endorsed by this no mark, don't I? Kamala Harris has probably got bigger fish to fry and more things to be concerned about as to whether this one's wife endorses her. But naturally, this one's wife, believing that the world revolves around her, would see herself as queen maker. She would see herself as, if she were to give an endorsement, that somehow that would swing the election in Kamala Harris's favour. I truly believe that if this one's wife came out and endorsed Kamala Harris, it would actually work against Kamala Harris because of the Saddam touch that this one's wife has. That so many people would think to themselves, well, I'm not exactly going to be impressed by that grifter endorsing her. And remember, the tide has turned as a consequence of the Pat Tillman debacle. Nevertheless, Kinsey Schofield continued by explaining that this one's wife wants to be included. This is potentially a very historic election. We really saw this one's wife involved, including with Kamala Harris in some voter campaigns in 2020. And I think this is a great way for this one's wife to get her foot in the door. Well, it might be a case of her getting her foot in the door for the purpose of some exposure, people talking about her endorsement of Kamala Harris. But if people seriously think that this one's wife has got what it takes to enter politics, then they really need to have a long lie down. After stepping down, the article continues, from royal duties in 2020 and returning to California, rumours circulated about this one's wife's aspirations for political office, although she has not confirmed any plans to enter civil service. Schofield expressed doubts. I don't feel like she has tough enough skin, but I do believe this is important to her. That is a fair assessment. This one's wife hasn't got the intelligence or the ability to enter politics, and the repeated threats to control that she would face would result in a repeated fracturing of her facade, resulting in her lashing out and basically having to assert control by withdrawal. She just hasn't got the ability to go far in politics. Nevertheless, she might attempt it because, of course, she's deluded, and as I've explained to you before, politics is very much a honeypot for narcissists because of the access to the prime aims it gives on a massive scale. Schofield continued by explaining, we saw her in 2020 work with Stacey Abrams, Hillary Clinton, Kamala Harris and Michelle Obama to do campaigns for women voting, getting women to the polls, she cited. During the 2020 presidential election, the Sussexes appeared to support Joe Biden subtly. This one's wife had labelled Donald Trump as divisive. Ha! Pot calling kettle black there. And during the Times 100 event on ABC, both she and Prince Harry suggested that Americans deserve change. Schofield mentioned this, saying, we saw Prince Harry and this one's wife during the Time 100 event on ABC saying Americans deserve change during 2020, which was a very subtle endorsement of Joe Biden at the time. This could be her first step in the door, Schofield speculated. I think what's more likely is that she might issue an endorsement as a means in the moment to bring attention onto herself and receive fuel. She may be deluded about political aspirations. They're not going to lead anywhere. But more interestingly, were she to endorse Kamala Harris, I don't think this would actually do Kamala Harris any favours whatsoever, given the sinking popularity and stained status of this one's wife. Do you agree? Let me know in the comments section. I'm HG Tudor. Thank you for listening.